This will destroy your freedom in Florida, and you better believe Governor Ron DeSantis is fighting back. Digital ID is already live in other countries, and now they're getting ready to roll it out here too. In this video, I'll show you how the UK is locking people up over Facebook posts, how China uses digital ID to control every move its citizens make, and how this one system could wipe out your rights in the US without a single vote. Let's jump in. Digital ID isn't just a digital license, it's a full access pass to your life, and not the kind you control. It links everything: your medical records, bank accounts, vaccine history, job info, social media, travel habits, spending patterns, all tied to one profile. That profile connects to your phone and your biometrics. Your face, your fingerprints, iris scan, all baked in. And once that's in place, tracking you becomes automatic. Cameras scan your face while you walk down the street. Your phone pings constantly from towers, Wi-Fi, and apps. They don't need to ask you where you're at, they already know. And once it's tied to a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, your money becomes programmable. That means they don't just know what you spend, they can control what you're allowed to spend it on. They can set limits by day, by location, by category. You use too much gas this month? They can shut it off. Trying to buy something they don't like? Transaction denied. With that much control, they can freeze your money in seconds, shut off your debit card, block you from buying a plane ticket, deny access to buildings, even lock you inside your house if you've used too much of your carbon footprint this month. That's another scam for another video. This isn't about safety. It's not about convenience. It's about setting up a system where you need permission to live your life. And that permission can be taken away. Once this thing is live, opting out won't be an option. Everything's gonna run through it: banking, healthcare, transportation, online access. If your profile isn't approved, you're locked out. Not just from the internet, from society. This isn't the future, it's already happening. The only question is whether people stop it before it's too late. If you want to see where digital ID actually leads, look at China. They didn't just build the system, they weaponized it. There, your digital ID isn't just a way to log in, it's tied to your face, your phone, and your behavior. Every time you post online, walk past a security camera, or use a government service, it updates your profile, and that profile is scored. China's social credit system tracks everything: where you go, what you say, how you spend. You say something untrustworthy, your score drops. Miss a loan payment? Same thing. Get flagged once and you can end up on a public blacklist. Full name, photo, and ID number plastered on a billboard. That really happens. And the punishments? You can be banned from buying train tickets, flights, staying at certain hotels, even using dating apps. One guy, a lawyer, found out that he was blocked from travel not because of a crime, but because the system flagged him as untrustworthy. It gets even worse. China just rolled out a national cyberspace ID system. Everyone's gonna need facial recognition and biometric data just to access the internet. No login, no service. They're centralizing everything under one ID: phone access, online activity, location tracking, all live and connected. And don't think this is just their culture. China is already working with international partners to spread this model globally. Once a system like this is in place, it doesn't matter what the rules are today. One update and your access to your money, your job, your life can be turned off with a click. They call it digital ID, but it's really digital control. In the United Kingdom, things have gotten so out of control with illegal immigration that the government's now using it as an excuse to roll out digital ID. Instead of fixing the border, they're clamping down on the people who are already there legally. They're pushing something called the Brit card, a digital ID stored on your phone that proves who you are, whether you're allowed to work, and if you got the right to stay. They say it's to stop undocumented migrants from getting jobs, but what they're really doing is building a system where nobody can work without state approval. Here's what UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says about it.
This government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
They basically created their illegal immigrant problem just like the Biden administration did here. And instead of just closing their border like Trump did, they're taking away freedoms from their legal citizens in the name of safety. But the crazy part, most of the illegals, they actually call them asylum seekers. They don't work because the UK gives them money, free housing, healthcare, and a cell phone. At the same time, they're cracking down on speech. People are being arrested, literally arrested, for Facebook posts. Not for threats, just for a meme they shared or for saying something that somebody else found offensive. Police are making over 30 arrests a day for so-called online hate speech. Over 12,000 people were arrested last year under these laws. It always starts with a reason people will accept. We're just trying to keep things safe. But once the system's in, they expand it. They always do. This is what digital ID looks like in action. Control, surveillance, and zero room for dissent. And the World Health Organization and the United Nations are already laying the groundwork for a global digital ID system. They want digital health passes, digital passports, and a centralized way to control how countries respond to the next big emergency. And we're helping pay for it all with US tax dollars. But we don't elect anyone at the WHO or the UN, and two of the biggest voting voices in those organizations, China and the UK. The same two countries already using digital ID to punish speech, control movement, and monitor every detail of people's lives. The WHO's been pushing what they call a pandemic agreement. It's basically a treaty that hands them more power during future outbreaks. That includes vaccine mandates, lockdowns, border rules, and even global surveillance. The Biden administration supported it and helped write it, but the US hasn't signed it yet. That doesn't mean it's over. The treaty was adopted by the WHO in May 2025. It just needs enough countries to ratify it before it comes active. All it takes is the right crisis and the wrong president, and the US could cave. Once this system's in place, it won't matter what Florida does. If the rules for travel, banking, or access to services are tied to a global digital ID, your state laws won't mean much. The pressure to comply is going to come from above, and you won't get a say. This isn't about safety, and it's not about the next virus. It's about building a system that controls people directly through their identity, money, and movement without ever needing to vote. But here's the great news. Florida ain't playing. Here's what Uncle Ronnie D has already said about it on X. If digital ID is pushed in the US, it will run into a brick wall in Florida. And he's not a guy that just says things for clicks. He means it. Remember, this is the governor who stood up to the Biden administration during the pandemic and banned vaccine passports. And he also told the WHO their rules don't apply here. And he's already taken steps to ban CBDC. Here's what he said on X. In 2023, we led by banning the use of central bank digital currency in Florida. CBDC strips individuals of their financial privacy and independence and would be a tool for abuse by central authorities. He's always one step ahead of the problem, and this is exactly the kind of leadership we need right now. Not just people who talk about freedom, but people who actually fight to protect it. And let's be honest, we've seen this playbook before. Remember Real ID? That came after 9/11. They said it was voluntary, most states resisted, but fast forward a few years, now you can't fly without it. It's just part of life. No one voted for that. Digital ID is worse. It's not limited to airports or government buildings. It's digital, centralized, and global. DeSantis gets that. That's why Florida's pushback matters. It's not just a political win, it's a firewall against a system that, once installed, you can't uninstall. And this is why we need strong leaders now more than ever, not politicians who give away our freedoms to unelected global bureaucrats. We need people who actually defend the Constitution and protect American citizens. That's why two things are critical right now. One, we need to vote for whoever DeSantis endorses in Florida's 2026 governor race. That firewall he built, it only stays up if the next governor keeps it strong. Two, Ron DeSantis needs to stay in the fight at the federal level. Whether that's as president, vice president, or in a top cabinet role, he has to be in a position to keep protecting Floridians and all Americans. Because if the people in charge don't care about your freedom, you better believe they're going to be the first ones to give it away. And remember, do not vote for any politician who pushes this garbage. Digital ID isn't safety, it's control. Benjamin Franklin said it best. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. That means if a politician is willing to hand over your freedom in exchange for some promise of security, they're not fit to lead. They need to be replaced. If you like this video, hit subscribe to help the channel grow and get more people paying attention. I got another video dropping in a few days I know you're gonna love. But if you can't wait, click here to find out why DeSantis just banned this at Florida airports. I'll show you why air traffic controllers are now getting fined for ignoring it and how the government's been wrapped up in this crap for decades. Click here and I'll see you there.